Hey everyone, my name's Adam. This is my stream because I am the only official Fabled storyteller that is in this chat right now. The only one announced, the only one here. Just saying, it's a team of one right now. One day it will be bigger, one day it will be better, and then other people might be able to join me on this channel as equals. But until then, welcome. My name is Adam. This is Off Meta, and I am joined by my Off Meta co-hosts, Haley and Tyler.
Oh, I'm glad Tyler's down there, not me.
I'll move you for next week, baby. Don't worry.
That's not the mood I'm in today. That was yesterday. Oh, I can't believe that that's the way you open that. You absolute.
You know what's funny is I was going to warn you guys. I thought, oh shit! I thought I was going to warn you guys. I forgot to start the recording on OmniCast. I was going to warn you guys. I was like, no, it's going to be way more funny if I do it this way. Not only that, I'm also... Wait, how do I do this? Boom. I've also added a thing so that I can do the thing and save a replay. So that I can throw that up onto YouTube Shorts later on today.
Did you understand any of that, Tyler? Do the thing so I can add a thing to add the thing to YouTube Shorts.
No. I mean, like, honestly, I've been like kind of smiling like a dementia patient right now because I don't know what he's talking about at all. Unless there is a website where Haley and I should have been featured, but we weren't. That's what I'm assuming has happened. It's a niche website joke, which seems like Adam's like native soil. So yeah.
This morning, I guess yesterday evening, Australia time, or tomorrow Australia time. Yeah. Yeah, they posted on Andy posted the first of the Fabled, which is of course
alphabetical
Adam,
as we do
alphabet. Things. And now I am hating the alphabet. Do you realize how many people we have before it gets to even me? Like, there are so many.
There's no guarantee it'll even get to you.
I'm like the 8th letter of the alphabet, and there are like so many before me.
Well, Haley, if you've ever looked at any of our lists in chats, right? I'm always on the bottom, so I imagine that's going to be the case here as well. That's okay.
I think so.
Best for last. That's what I say.
Yeah, you would think that, but no.
Best was first, was it?
Always.
Okay. All right. Sure. So we have to put up with. I don't even know why we work with him, honestly.
Work for me right now. Work for me.
Yeah, okay. Well, you are not paying enough, buddy.
Yeah, so Haley is correct.
We should unionize.
Fabled storytellers were announced, and we don't know who's coming next.
We absolutely do.
We don't know.
Not gonna spoil it.
They're lying. Who knows for sure if they're ever going to get in? Like, Andy's gonna look at this conversation and be like, "You're right. We should just leave it as just Adam. No need to announce anyone else. We're good to go." So hey everyone. Today we're going to be doing experimental characters, in case you didn't read the title before you click to join here. In which case, I appreciate your bravado, but we are going to be ranking the experimental characters.
That would lower our capacity to be fabled storytellers for much longer if we just started announcing roles.
We're still in testing phases.
Yeah. We're just doing it.
Yeah. And I would like to announce the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor, I don't remember. You guys have gone quiet on me. Who knows, chat? Who knows? All right, cool.
Funny grimace face. All righty.
Shit.
All right, who's doing
we're
this?
gonna be talking about roles that you are familiar with in alphabetical order, which was a convention I didn't necessarily agree with initially, and now I agree with less. But we're going to continue on with this particular process, talking about the experimental roles, some of which will be available in your Kickstarter boxes if you got them in, some of which won't, and we'll try to highlight that as we go through them.
In fact, I think every character today is going to be a Kickstarter character if I look at this correctly.
Assuming we carry on the trend of not getting through everything on our list, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We have ambitious lists, but then we talk too much. I will get us rolling with Lleech. The Leech. It is available through your Kickstarter, Grimoire. Each night, choose a player. That's an asterisk by that each night, by the way. They die. You start by choosing an alive player. They are poisoned. You die if, and only if, they die. Haley, what do you think about Lleech?
I kind of love the Leech. I do. And I know because we are organized now that you two are going to disagree with me, but I kind of do. Win condition changing rolls are usually my jam. Although, as I say that, I realize that I think on a couple of the win condition changing rolls in the experimental characters so far, I've been like, this is trash, I hate it. So I am consistently inconsistent, guys. So you just have to deal with that. I've never been the Leech, but I've been on lots of games where it's on the script, and I find them always kind of fun to figure out if it's a Leech in play. And then when you've got that figured out, it adds a nice little puzzle of, okay, which of my fellow townsfolk is the most consistently wrong? Basically, who is been probably poisoned the whole game. It's like figuring out there's a drunk in play, so it's just another way of adding that kind of dynamic in. In terms of actually being the Leech, I would guess that it's either mad stressful, because what if you pick a townsfolk right at the beginning that is just hella sauce the whole game, or like maybe you need to know your players, and are they the kind that play chaotic? Adam, like, you never pick Adam as your Leech host because the town will try and execute him very soon, you know? So I think, imagine that making it super stressful, but from my perspective, I think it's probably also kind of chill, because it doesn't really matter too much if town executes you really early, which is one of the things that I really struggle with being a demon, is letting my whole team down if I like die super soon. I could continue to sow a bunch of chaos, you know, this is a talking game, by just talking when I'm dead, and maybe having a better impact for my team like that when I'm not as stressed. I get very stressed playing evil. I do think that it works really well with the next roll on our list. You can start guessing that if you like, chat.
Leviathan.
We did Leviathan last week, so if they were here, they would know that, and I've already like given that away. Cool. But I don't know how well it would work on scripts that don't have the ability to like cover up why there's no deaths happening if your Leech died really early, or like there needs to be another way to kill town basically on the script. So I personally kind of want to put it in A, but I know I'm gonna be pushed back on against that. So I guess Adam, you can tell me why I'm wrong.
It's a tough one, and we're actually, I think when we get to the next character on the list, we'll talk about, I don't think we should talk about it yet. Or maybe we will. Tyler, what do you think? Do we talk about it now?
Well, we'll talk about it when it comes, because I know what you're referencing. They actually don't.
They don't synchronize well.
They don't work well together. We had to develop a jinx that is not official, but we use it on I've used it on all the games that I've had them both in. So, but yeah,
I just don't put them on the script together until we get a good jinx for it. I'm not saying yours isn't, Tyler, but I don't remember what it is.
Fucking perfect. Go ahead.
So Leech is a rough one. Lots of things are great about the Leech, as Haley mentioned. In fact, Haley is 100% spot on. The most and probably only real stressful time that you have as a demon, it changes the dynamic of playing the demon, right? The only time you're really stressed is that first night. Normally that first night, not so stressful for the demon. You don't normally have to do anything. On that first night now, you've got to go around the town square with no information and pick a player to Leech poison and hope they make it through to the final three. It's absolutely crazy, because if you're found out at any point that you are the Leech, that final three becomes a 50-50 for town to figure out who and why. And now this is why Leech is another one of those characters that has to have a script built around it to make it really viable. It needs a lot of other protection roles. It needs a lot of needs a script that's got a lot of characters on there that cannot die. A sailor, tea lady, pacifist could shine with a Leech. Not that I've ever really done it or seen it, but now that I'm thinking about it, when I was writing these notes, could absolutely shine with a Leech. To just because you got to create those worldviews out there that these other characters, these other people could be the Leech. Because if they make it a final 3 as well, it could be between, like, which of these 3 could be it. But at the same time, you're never gonna really probably want to protect the Leech host with a pacifist ability. So maybe it's not as good as a, Sailor or Tea Lady protection in that regard. But it is a Leech. Leech on paper is one of those characters. When I look at it, I go. When I saw it for the first time, I looked at it and I went, "Wow, this is great." But in practice, not as good as it could be. So yeah, so I would say Haley, I would love for it to be A, and I think it doesn't need much of a slight tweak to make it A. And maybe once, the experimental stuff comes out with the, what's it called? The expansion of whatever the Leech is going to be on comes out, maybe it'll get a slight rework to make it fit into that. Because we've seen Poe, etc. change during the whole life cycle during the Kickstarter announcement through to production. I'm sure some of these Kickstarter characters can get that tweak. So we're not saying like what you've got right now is broken in any way, shape, or form, or but I would say, just to say your expectation, I would think that some of it has an opportunity to be changed and upgraded, ready for its final release. And I think Leech is one of those. It is a hair away from being S tier in my opinion. And maybe or it's just one of those characters just lives on its own script, which is what makes it a B. Sorry, Ty. I hope I didn't steal too much of your thunder.
No, yeah, I think what's interesting is that you were saying, God, it really needs to be on a very particular script, and the script you describe is just BMR. And if you just put it on BMR, it would work wonders. It does really well, right? All the bluffs are there that it can use to its advantage when it doesn't die by execution. The poisoning of the information is not so readily available, so it's hard to tell if somebody was poisoned, right? That's why the Puka shines on that particular script. It just really is a very effective role in that particular setting, and it plays to the way that I like to play, right? Because I like BMR a lot, so I think the Leech really fits in with that. It doesn't obviously work as well. I think when they did the rollout game, they were plugging everything into Trouble Brewing and saying, well, we're going to take the new role and we're going to put in Trouble Brewing. And that first game, the Leech poisoned the monk. And then they had a situation where the monk protected somebody, that person died at night, and they go, well, I'm the Leech host, right? And that was, but it speaks to what has already been brought up, which was you are making a blind decision on the first night. That can be very difficult to do. It almost kind of works. It works counter to the rest of the way a lot of the game works. So if the evil team was allowed to acquire some information, figure out who they want to plan and strategize to be the host, and then got to make that choice, I feel like that would be more in the spirit of the game instead of a blind pick and go, well, what happens, happens. But you are playing the player, so if you go, this player is never going to advocate for their own execution, or they're very rarely going to advocate for their own execution, then maybe they're a good target. If you are trying to, if you're trying to be too cute, it can backfire against you. But I think more people will advocate for their own execution in a game where there's a Leech host. Anyway, all of my experiences with the Leech have been really fun. For that reason, I would give it. I think the points that were made by Adam are very valid. It has a lot of weaknesses. It can be. It doesn't have a lot of things it can do in settings that don't have roles that can survive execution. So if it's just out of evil, it makes things very difficult. I think, in a wide variety of scripts, it's a B, maybe even a C. For my enjoyment of it, it's an A. Mm-hmm. I would love to see it be worked on a little bit, tinkered with a little bit, so that it can be an S tier, A tier kind of mainstay demon.
Yeah,
but I think you can tell how much people do like it because the amount of times it shows up on scripts, even when you go, maybe not. But it's kind of like the throwaway. It's like Legion and this, and then a Leech, and I was like, no, that doesn't work as well there. But good luck.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. Haley, I just need to say something first. Tyler, of course, my opinion. Of course, I make a lot of sense and a lot of great comments, Tyler, because I am the only current fabled storyteller. Sorry, carry on.
So, yeah, I do know that objectively right now it's not A tier. I just have a soft spot for it. I do. You're both correct in your I'm struggling with vocab today. I don't know. You're correct, whatever. I wonder, actually, if this Thursday, given your points about BMR, Tyler, if we shouldn't just play BMR with a Lyech.
I think it would be wonderful. I think you could take... I don't know which one I would take off in terms of demons. It would either be Zombuul or Shabaloth, but I think either one you take off, replace with a Lyech, I think Lyech would shine, do great.
Isn't it? Zombuul
No,
immediately
no,
get kicked off.
No, I want to go back to Zombuul. I ran a great game yesterday where it was a Puka game. We were playing BMR, and everyone was convinced it was a Zombuul. And it's like, oh my god, this is such a there is so many worlds out there still to be developed and metas to be created for Zombuul that could bring it up, but.
Well, so you're kind of conflating, not to get deep in the weeds about that role again. You're kind of conflating a different thing. The Puka, which I have done that exact same thing you're describing. I have played the Puka in a way where I've poisoned people and then gotten them executed the next day. So it was never clear if it was a Puka or a Zombuul until it was too late. I think that's great. I think that give the Zombuul some value. That's why I was deciding between the Shabaloth and the Zombuul. I'm actually more inclined because what the Zombuul does for the Poe and other demons, not for what it does as if you're that demon. As that demon, I think you're at a disadvantage. But anyway, that goes back to another conversation.
Yep, it does.
Anyway.
But let's be clear, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do it. My opinion is the only one that matters because I am the only... Okay, I'm going to stop. Carry on. Sorry, guys. It's the last time we're going to do it.
I just I want to go to the other room and slap him. That's really where I'm at right now.
You could just message Andy and say, "Hey, Andy,
could you delete it?
We have a prick on a podcast with us. Could you help us out?" And if she's awake, she might help us out. So, in any case, are we kind of swirling around high B, something like that?
I think we're saying B needs mods, right?
Yeah.
It needs... Well, we're sticking in B because at some point, looking at the way B's going, we're going to need to come back and re-rank everything in B and add B+, B-, and B.
I can put it... well, you know what? I wouldn't be hurt if it was an A. I really do like the Lyech. I think it is a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun on scripts. I think it contributes a lot to it. So if Haley thinks it's an A, you think it's a B, and I could go either way, I'm going to lean towards A.
One counter argument, Tyler. Look at what else is in A. Amnesiac, Bounty Hunter, Leviathan, Little it's not on the same level as those yet, right now.
I think it pairs well with a lot of those roles. Amnesiac, Bounty Hunter, Balloonist, and a Poison Balloonist. Boy, I'm just giving you names. Son.
All right, A it goes then. I don't think it should be there, but I will.
Poison General? Oh, let me tell you how many neutrals I can give your friend.
Dear. All right, Lyech goes up. Who and what is next? Let's take a look at the script because I don't need to worry about scripts because I am ready for this podcast.
Okay.
Well,
good. Oh jeez.
luckily it's Haley's read, so you didn't need to even know.
Okay, so next up is the role I referenced right at the start of the Lyech discussion, the Lycanthrope, which is in your Kickstarter boxes. Each night, asterisk, choose an alive player. If good, they die, but they are the only player that can die tonight. Adam, what do you think of Lycans?
I don't know if it was just when it first came out or if it's still the case now, but I always feel like I was seeing it far too often on custom scripts. It's another one of those characters like Atheist that gets people too excited for what it really does. I'm not saying it's not a great role. I'm not saying it's not a good role, but it gets them too excited to put it in. To giving good that control over who gets to die each night is a completely game-breaking, imbalanced thing on the wrong script. Let's be very clear on that. Now, saying that, Do I like the Lycan? Yes. So it's funny because in my notes I'm saying how great it is that good gets. It's great for good. It's great for good that good gets to decide who dies each night. Absolutely great for good. I don't think it's necessarily the most balanced thing. It's great for good on a script with Legion, Little Monster, Atheist. There's a ton of other characters that you can like with it. It's good with Imp. Yeah, it's good with Imp. I guess it's better. What I've said on my notes is better with an ability that gives evil a get out of jail card like a Scarlet Woman, to give them the chance if the demon happens to get picked, they can still bounce out of that spot. I worry. Do I enjoy playing it? Yes. Is it a good bluff for evil to potentially control the kills, to say they're controlling the kills and really it's the demon killing whoever they want? Yes. It is probably an A for me because of, oh my god, I've just spoke so negatively about this for the last minute and I'm going to say it's an A. It is probably an A for everything I've just said as the counter argument, saying it should be up there for Town because of how much they get to enjoy it and create it. And when I am the Lycanthrope, I really enjoy being the Lycanthrope, probably more than a lot of other characters, especially even the experimental characters. I probably enjoy it more because I know what I'm getting to do and I know I'm going to control it, and I am never going to let Town just execute me. Never going to do it. Never going to kill myself either, and I love it.
There's nothing about you saying a role that has complete and utter control dominates the situation being something that you like surprises me. Not at all. Not even a little bit. I think it is all the things that you said it is, but it is also counter fun. And if you take the position that the evil team is in to begin with, which is they are at a disadvantage. Their advantage is they get to eliminate people that they think can, sniff them out. This role takes that agency away from them, and it leads to them, if they choose evil players, then it does become a finger pointing session of, I picked them, they didn't die, we should just go ahead and execute them. And 9 times out of 10, that leads to the execution of that particular player. Right? I think the Lycanthrope is far more powerful than any of its contemporary townsfolk roles, and it requires it requires the evil team have something. They have to have an assassin or a pit hag, just about. And if they had a poisoner, I guess they could get out of it in that case too, and that could lead to some interesting situations if the Lycanthrope is very vocal, and then they can poison and set up other people. That could be interesting. But it's just, other than the script we did for Blind Man's Bluff, I don't find the Lycanthrope to be very fun for the people that are playing in that game, other than the person who is the Lycanthrope. It does seem to be it creates a very industrialized process for the good team. We will just do these things in this order. Yes, to your point, could it be a great bluff? Sure, I think it can be a great bluff. And maybe that's its saving grace. For me though, most of the games I've seen it in, I watched a lot of Lycanthrope games. It feels a lot more like a B to me, because it's just not fun. It feels counter to the game.
It's anticlimactic, right? Sorry, Haley, go on.
Yeah.
I'm going to read out what my first line said verbatim, because it exactly ties to what Tyler just said. I've been a Lycan. I enjoyed killing off my town and having all that power while still being on the good team. What can I say? I'm a bad person. Yes, it is so much fun to be a Lycan. And, I keep harkening back to this freaking script that Adam has that we can't talk about because half the roles on it are not in public realm yet. But it's so good on that script. It's so good. My only frustration with it as a player is when it comes down to Final Four and you're the Lycan still alive on that night before the final day. Killing yourself is kind of off the table. If you've been accurate with all of your kills so far, you've decimated town. Like, there's basically probably only you and maybe one other townsfolk left. Like, you're the last one in that situation, and convincing town that you're not actually evil is really, really tough. I do think it is a great bluff, though. Like, I think it's really easily bluffable. Maybe it doesn't fit on most scripts. I said in my notes I think it can fit on most scripts, but you've both convinced me that no, it really can't. It can be counter fun, and we all know this about me, that I prefer to be on the good team. I hate playing as evil, and so I have no idea if this would be fun for evil to play. I mean, maybe not, probably not, to be fair. I think it does add an evil puzzle, which is not always the case in Clocktower. Evil doesn't always have a puzzle to figure out necessarily. Like, they know who they have to kill in order to get through to the end of the game, right? They don't. So, but having to take down a Lycan, like, it does have to have some really specific counters within the evil team on the script.
100%
I
right.
wanted to say A. I really did want to say A. Just because I love being it. Like, seriously, that power, being able to kill the whole time. Like, oh, it's beautiful. But it's probably literally only fun for the Lycan player.
Well,
there are some situations where the Lycan is basically mechanically confirmed, and that can really blow up your game. I'm not saying that it's common, but if you have a monk or a soldier, like anything that says safe from the demon as part of its power set, and then they coordinate with the Lycan, the monk protects somebody, Lycan targets that same person, that person will die if they're good. So you have a situation, the soldier would die to the Lycan, that makes them, relatively mechanically confirmed, short of a poison snipe type of deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some interactions that can be very negative with it. You brought up this in relation to the Lleech, and the reason we have used it on Lleech scripts is because of a jinx that I started using, which was that the Lleech host would register as evil to the Lycanthrope. So it doesn't totally take away from the Lycanthrope's ability to do its thing, but it does mean that the game doesn't end in a night snipe on the Lleech host. I can see what y'all are saying. I put it in a legacy setup with the intention that the evil team would eliminate the Lycanthrope. I even put in all the roles, all the minions that I could counter the Lycanthrope, the assassin, the pit hag, and I think I had a poisoner on that initial thing with a spy, and the Lycanthrope still ran roughshod. So it's pretty potent.
What was that minion team that you just talked about there, Ty?
It was assassin, pit hag, poisoner, spy.
That is the perfect combination for against it. That's a perfect.
Yeah, and it was a little monster. It was a little monster game, but yeah, it still was rock solid. That old Lycanthrope.
So what I would say is, seeing as we put Lleech in A, I think Lycan has to go in A too, because if we ignore the fact that you need a script built around it to really make it shine, which is what you kind of have to do with the Lleech, right? You kind of have to make a script that really makes it, really removes any of its weaknesses right now to put it there. I think the Lycan has that same problem. I think that is the perfect minion team. I cannot believe that minion team didn't get it. The spy knows who the Lycan is, and the poisoner, pit hag, or assassin didn't get rid of them. I don't know. I don't know what the setup was, obviously, but there are so many combinations there. Pit hag can remove it. Poisoner can poison it each night. There is so much shade that it can be thrown there that I just don't know how. I don't know how that evil team. No offense to players, sometimes it just doesn't work out. I take that as full thing, but man, that seems like the perfect minion team to deal with a Lycanthrope. Even more so in a little monster game when you might have had 3 of them, so 4 of them in the game, right? Anyway, sidetrack. I think the Lycan has to be an A because we ignored the same points about the Lleech, and I think the Lycan. Stepping back. If you think about that script where you've even got the spy on the play, even things like the grandmother seeing, or the washerwoman seeing the Lycanthrope between these 2 players, and there being a spy on the script, you might not necessarily trust it. There is still elements in that, even in that minion. That was even as you were talking. That was the perfect minion team I was coming up with in my head to deal with it. I can't believe that didn't work. That's so frustrating. I think that there is enough ways out there that you can create still mistrust with the Lycanthrope amongst the good players, and deal with it as an evil players, or leave it out there as an evil players to keep throwing mistrust on it if you wanted to, right? I think there's enough opportunity out there to do it.
I think that game had a dreamer snipe on the Lycanthrope, and that made things a little bit tougher for the evil team. But still, I mean, nonetheless, it's just it is pretty potent. So I can't disagree with y'all on the facts that it's probably an S tier in terms of potency and what it can do for town. I just don't think it's very fun. But if you want to put it in A on that basis, I just can't argue with you.
I just want to call back to something. So Bob, the naked mule in chat, said something about Adam's never gonna give it up, never's gonna let it down. I just want to show you what we have in our actual living room.
Is it Rick Astley? Does Rick Astley live there? Oh no! Nice.
Because
that's our song.
Nice.
Yep. All right. I think so. Yeah. I think A is fair for this. I think if we'd have put Lleech in B, I would have had a hard time arguing against it being in B. But I think if Lleech is going in A, I think Lycan should go in A too.
Alrighty.
Oh, yes.
Well, Adam, why don't you read our next roll for us?
Sure. As soon as I found the script for it, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get started because the next roll is the one, the only, the Magician. The demon thinks you are a minion. Minions think you are demon. Magician.
Yeah.
Tyler?
Okay. So what was interesting is I had a very low opinion of this role that came up a notch after we played it in a 1 minion setup. I actually did think that the Magician in a 1 minion game was pretty disruptive for the evil team, so there was benefit there. They could do some wacky stuff and try to bait evil, and I think they were having a good time. In multi-minion setups, the Magician just doesn't have a lot of traction. Can't, because the minions can just go to each other and go, they know who the minions are when they kind of interview a demon, for lack of a better term. They can verify whether or not that demon is the right one if they can name who the minions are. Right. And so that gives them a sense of which one's the real one, which one's the Magician, if they didn't know otherwise. It just seems to be a very small hurdle, and it's an immediate ability, which they never get to come back around and do anything else. They can't, if they didn't bait somebody early, then they're really probably not going to get anywhere with it. They're not going to fool someone late in the game that they were the demon all along, probably. It was interesting. I put it in a Legion game. I thought that was pretty fun. So I think that can be fun too. But other than a 1 minion setup, I just don't see it as a very effective role. I might go as far as to give it a C. I think it needs a little bit of a rework. It needs a little bit of oomph.
Haley.
Yeah. I have no experience with the Magician. I feel like the first time I even read about this role was like 2 weeks ago when I put this document together. Truly, no idea. So I'm going to sit this one out and just listen to your arguments and then like maybe weigh in at the end. But it does sound kind of annoying. So I'm guessing that it's going to be a negative review from you. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, my notes start off for this one is find me a character that does less for the game than the Magician. I'll wait. The Magician already has a better version of it out there, already has a reworked version of it out there in like the Poppy Grower, right? Where minions and demon can't trust and know who each other are, right? I mean, it is slightly more powerful than Magician, but there is nothing I can't picture. I mean, I even sat there when I was putting these notes together, tried to picture a world of what I would do to the Magician to make it better. I've never seen it win games for good. I'm sus on people that claim it. I don't think it's a positive for town. I don't know what that magical rework is to make it work.
So I thought it would be interesting, and we don't have to get into it, but if that's the question, I think the Magician would be more helpful for town. It could do a lot more things if it got something like same ability text as is, but it also said you learn one one of the out of play roles that the demon knows. Right. So if they knew one bluff, then they have this piece of information that they can be on the lookout for in terms of their investigation. They become much more effective. They can bait a little bit better in certain instances, right? That actually may be, I want to see it because it may actually be too good to know a bluff, but or too wonky. It's like some games it'll cause a lot of upheaval and others won't. But as it stands, it doesn't do a lot. So
slight Quill says in chat, can't the recluse technically do what the magician does anyway? Yes, but the recluse is supposed to be an outsider and bad for town, not bad for evil, whereas the magician is supposed to have ability that hurts town. So doing what the magician does with the recluse, no go. Don't do it. Don't ever think about doing it. You're completely breaking what the point is of the recluse in that sense.
I think Slight Quill's may be referencing a reveal game in which
they did it with the recluse anyway. Yeah,
they did it with the recluse and the magician. Yeah.
Well, sometimes even the people that work for TPI aren't as good as us Fable Storyteller.
Oh my lord, he's gonna be insufferable for weeks. Jen
if Andy could get this rollout going a little faster, that'd be wonderful.
Right?
I thought you said you'd already reached your cap on how many times you could say that.
Yeah, but this time I wasn't insulting you guys. I was insulting Ben, I think it's fair game, right? No, but in all seriousness, I don't know what the magician could do. I think you're right. I think it would break. If I was evil then on a script with a magician, I don't think I would ever use the bluffs just in case. I just don't. I think it would hurt evil too much. Plus, there are other roles coming that kind of do that anyway, Ty. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well,
wow. Okay, that was a short discussion on that one. So I guess that means that there's not an awful lot to say about it, and you'll think it's a C.
I really think there's only two. There's only two instances in which you really have to talk about a magician. It's like I said. Is it a one minion game? Is it a multi minion game? And then those dynamics. Somebody in chat did say, Professor Cosmos, had said that it feels a lot like the Lunatic, where the magician is more effective in person and has a lot more fun. And I don't have a place to disagree with that because I haven't seen it enough in person. I imagine that's probably true. I think there's a lot of things because of the dynamics that can come into a game in which maybe you don't know everybody there and you don't know everybody's tells as well. And you don't have perfect recall that some of the tools online allow you to have. It could be pretty confusing. Any little extra confusion could throw off evil in that case, which makes the magician that much more effective. So I think that's probably worth exploring, is how well it does offline versus online, which was the intention of almost everything that Steven and them designed. It was. I don't think that much of this has been built with the consideration of online play.
No, not at all. Yeah. And so YouTube chat somebody there is saying that maybe the magician could learn which minions are not in play somehow. That could be an interesting tweak to it, I think.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to give it some sort of bluff like that. To like the reverse bluff, not finding like the reverse bluff of the demon, so they can know which evil characters they claim to be.
You know one minion that is not in play.
Yeah.
A reverse bluff for them to talk to potential other people players. Because I tell you how I'm going to spoil it so I never get to play Magician again. How I have played Magician in the past there, I've straight out first day, who wants to have a chat? Whoever wants to talk to me, I am claiming evil to them from that moment. So having that role that I could claim to be would make what I do as the magician much more easier.
I think it's a good idea.
That's it. In fact, Coy, not only is that a great idea, that is a brilliant idea that I'm, as a fabled storyteller, I'm going to go raise up to TPI for you as a suggestion. Use my power as the Hell's Librarian.
At least you're finally using your powers for good.
For good, right? Yeah, jeez.
To the next role. Oh, I like it.
Putting in C, though, just to confirm, right?
Yes.
We're putting that in C.
All right, cool. Thank you.
The Marionette. You think you are a good character, but you are not. The demon knows who you are. You, this is in brackets, baby, can't defy it, even if you wanted to, unless there's a recluse. You neighbor the demon. That's the marionette. You ain't got no strings to hold me down.
So, marionettes. Man. You know, I was so green when I first encountered a marionette. It was, such baby Clocktower, newbie Haley vibes. And I was the demon, and we all know how good I am at that. So I was so stressed. I was stressed. My marionette, though, was Eden, who used to work for the Pandemonium Institute, has a heck of a lot of experience with Clocktower. And she came up to me, she's like, girl, if I'm your marionette, you've got to tell me. So I think she had a read on me that I was definitely evil and was freaking the fuck out. And so she really did all of the work in that game, let's say, as the marionette. And we still lost because I was so bad at being evil. Still am, to be fair. I think it is probably has a lot of power and replayability. Like, it just sounds great, right? It's like being a drunk but for evil. Like, you don't, unless like the demon tells you that, you just don't know that you are even evil. Like, there's so many things that can be done with that, both on the evil side and on the good side. I think it's a great role. I really do. I don't know what its drawbacks are, other than, like, do you even, if you've pulled that blue token out of the bag, do you trust them? Are they just trying to get you to play for evil, even though you're good? What do I do with this? It adds so many questions. Like, you're questioning yourself, you're questioning the game as a whole, life, existence. Has everybody seen the Webb telescope images this morning? Like expansive. It just sounds so fun. So much fun for everybody involved, I think, with a marionette in play.
So, one of the greatest things that evil can do, one of the greatest things you can give evil, is the ability to make good players think that they're evil. So what a tool the marionette is for evil, no matter what, even if it's not in play, especially if it's not in play, what a great tool it is for evil. Now, there used to be a meta in the experimental playtest groups that I used to play with online, where the marionette, every single player would go to the neighbors and say, you're the marionette, good or evil, because that nullifies the marionette playing for evil. Like, you can never trust it because everyone's going to tell you that every game. And that's a little bit of a dirty meta, one that I would encourage people to, if your group ever figures that out, to just kind of encourage. It's not really in the spirit, but hey, you do you if that's what your group wants to do. So that is the downside. If a group gets into that meta, to kind of break the marionette, because the marionette now evil has an extra player on, has the same number of players on the evil team, but they have a player not playing for evil anymore and still trying to figure it out. So that could be the downside for them. And so just keep that in mind, that the marionette, as great as it is for evil, being able to make good players think that they're evil, the fact that it can be nullified if everyone in the game goes to the neighbor saying, hey, you are the marionette, can break evils out. It can break evil's number, not advantage, but like number opportunity, which makes it a downside for evil, which is the only thing that stops it, really, in my opinion, being S. It's a character that is great to have on the script. If you forget like that meta of how to break the marionette, it is a character that is great on script, like Atheist, like Legion, for the fear factor it can bring in, for the ability of evil and stuff, trying to create these worldviews that is a Legion or Atheist or Marionette game. Like that fear factor alone makes it great, but there's just an unbreakable meta out there right now that I can't see a way around.
Interesting thing you bring up. I've seen it. I guess it's about the temperament of the player base in a particular group. I was talking to somebody about a role the other day that kind of gets to make a choice about, and we'll talk about it when it comes up, but they get to kind of make a choice about what team they want to play for and under what circumstances they want to do it and all that kind of different thing. And if you have a lot of people who are just like super game for that, right? They're willing to If they think they could possibly be evil, they're willing to lean towards that, or just hold back on information they have until they know for certain something about themselves. Any of those types of things. I think you can get a lot of mileage out of a marionette. One of the things that comes up a lot, and I think you brought it up there, so I won't rehash a lot of the things you said, but one of the things that comes up is the idea that the marionette is only good in terms of its potential. Like the potential, if it's on a script, it has a potential impact that makes people distrust stuff. If you know you're the marionette, you're basically useless. You would have been better off as another minion. And I totally disagree. I see marionettes win games all the time on social capital alone because they get, for better or for worse, a blue token. And they can look people in the eye early. They can look people in the eye mid-game. They can look people in the eye late and say, look, I got a Flower Girl token, and this is the information I've got. And you can think it's bullshit, but this is what it is. And if you put a marionette on a script with a leech or with other poison rolls, that information might mean they are the poison host. It might mean that they are the marionette. It might mean that the poison is coming from somewhere else. There's a lot of different things that can play into it. But that social capital really cannot be underestimated. And I've seen marionettes win games, never know that they were the marionette. The demon never came to them and said, you're my marionette. And they walked away going, well, all right, I guess I won one. But it was because the information provided to them from their information roll allowed it to create a worldview that was credible, right? Because you're still helping the evil team. If they are the poison marionette, name a high value information roll, and they are credible enough in that information, then they are saying, I confirm this person, or this is the information that I have. And the storyteller, the evil team can build worlds around that. So it creates a lot of different things that they can do. If you want to nod to your marionette that, hey, you're probably the marionette, they check, they're the marionette fortune teller, they pick their demon, and you just go ahead and give them sober information and say, yep, you get a yes. You know, you can do that if you want to tap them on the shoulder and say, you probably are a poison marionette, right? I don't know. I really like it a lot. Obviously, it's not as powerful as some other minion roles out there. Can't put it in the S tier on that basis. It does have limitations in what it can do. But I think that credibility factor, that social ability is very, very powerful and a little underrated. So I would put it in A tier.
Agreed. I almost want to put it in S. Like if I was going to be a minion, I want to be a marionette. I do. Like I do. I just want to be a marionette.
You hate being evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't put it in S, and I won't fight you guys to put it in B, but I do think it's more of a B than an A personally. I hear what you're saying, Ty, about how a marionette that doesn't know they're evil could go out there and create world views. They got to be trusted for a start. The drunk does the same thing. Like, would I consider? I don't know. Like, I don't know. The drunk is the. I don't know, Ty. I just don't. I can't. I hear what you're saying, but like, there's part of me, and I can't quite verbally justify it right now. But there is a part of me that's like, that doesn't give you anything special or new with this character.
But you get the two aspects of it. So the drunk is an S tier outsider because of what it can mislead town into doing, right? Mm-hmm. So you get that benefit as already that kind of that sense of a person going, I know what I am and I trust my info, because that's where players are at this stage in their life cycle as Clocktower players. They're going to just trust their info until given something that says otherwise. So with that in mind, you also include that aspect that you talked about. Now, I understand the group that you're speaking of and the way that they play, and, you know, that could change the way that you view it. I do think that having a recluse on script and having people go like, well, I could be the marionette. Really? I'm going to slow play this and see what I can find out, right? I'm sat next to a recluse, or so-and-so came up to me and told me I was their marionette. I've seen that in games where people were just being funny and they were good roles and they told people, you're my marionette. And that made them slow play the info that they had, which is probably not the best thing for town. But I've seen it happen. plenty of times because people think it's funny or it's silly or whatever. So when it's earnest, when it's real talk kind of Marionette situation, yeah, I think it can be pretty devastating. But I understand what you're saying. It's tough. It's a very polarizing one. I think some people for a long time thought it was the worst role. I feel like it's underestimated. And that's kind of why I was saying A. I feel like it deserves a better spot than it gets in the public consciousness.
Yeah, I agree completely. I do not think it should be B or C. I really don't. Just like the drunk, like you say, right? It turns everything on its head. It adds that kind of flavor to the game that other roles don't, in a way that other roles don't, because of the evil element. So yeah, the drunk does it, but this also adds an element of alignment to it as well, which I just think is brilliant. I don't know. I didn't realize that people didn't like it so much, honestly. I had no idea. I thought it was great the first time I played with it, even though I lost that game. I thought, wow, this is cool. Like, Eden has all of this crap, but good information, right? Like, she can get people on side. Like, this is awesome. Yeah.
Difference is the drunk takes away from a townsfolk, whereas Marionette takes away from a minion ability, which are normally more powerful for evil. That would, I think we've said in the past, the minion abilities are what really makes it for evil. Like,
is it more powerful though? It's like it's being given poisoned information from the storyteller, so it's like adding that in.
Yeah, I mean, potentially if evil trusts it, if good trusts it, then potentially the storyteller can help build a worldview, or help them build a worldview that makes it good for evil. You're right. But I
don't know exactly why the Marionette version of a townsfolk always sounds more credible to the other players, but it's like they can kind of smell it. You know, they can smell a bluff a lot of times more than they can see someone very earnestly going, "This is what I got, man. I don't know what to tell you." And that's my experience of seeing it in play. Yeah. Anyway, but all right. So we're gonna put it in A for now, or do you want to make it provisional?
I mean, you can put it in B and come back around to it.
I put it in A. I put it in A because you guys both feel it's A, so let's put it in A. I feel like it's a high B, so I'm not going to fight against it going in A, and that's where you guys want it.
Being so nice to rolls today.
Yeah, what the hell's going wrong with us all? I mean, we did create a C.
We did make a C. That's true.
But the B's and A's are now level.
I think if we get through all of these, we'll have another one.
I don't think we've got time to do the next one.
No, I was going to say that
we're taking whole minutes. No,
I don't know. We're not going to get the next one's such a diversive one. I think that we're not going to get through it.
Do you reckon? Oh, okay. Yes, I see what you and Tyler have put in your notes. Yes, it is very divisive.
Bob the Naked Mule says Adam is a very magnanimous fable. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Marshall, do not feed into this.
I love that Americans don't know sarcasm, so I can trust everything he says. All right. Well, I think that is our stream there today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap this up today because no reason specifically. Thank you everyone for being here today. It's very much appreciated. I had a lot of fun ranking these. I think we had some good characters today. I think
what's funny is that the more efficient we should be, because we were efficient, it still seems like we get fewer of them done. That was great.
Conversation's good though, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
You tell us, chat. Is this better content or not? Not right now. Like tweet us or
anything. Go to at Off Meta Tweets and tell us what you think. You can also check us out at youtube.com/offmetaplays for all of the fun edited content, great versions of these that were less efficient, made more efficient through the power of editing. And you can watch us play. We're still deciding what we're going to play tomorrow on the Wednesday stream. And then, but it'll be a fun board game. You should tune in for that. Thursday, we're going to be back with Clocktower. Maybe something funny from this particular podcast. Maybe this podcast will feed into what we play in the future. What an idea. We'll see about that. And then we started our roleplay stream on this past Sunday, American Mythos. If you tuned into that, it's still available on VOD. If you didn't watch it, I think you'll really enjoy it. I think we have some really great players, some great characters, some stuff going on that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get the presentation into overdrive as time goes on. We'll be back up with that, not this next Sunday, but the following. So every 2 weeks for a little while. On the Sundays, until we meet again, though. Adam, anything else you want to say from your fabled post?
Yeah, Adam wants to do the wrap up. I love that you just like snatched that out from under
my
him
bad.
for all of his.
It's fine.
I always assume that Adam can't remember our links.
He's not that much of an old man.
Do we have links? No, nothing else to add. Thank you for everyone for being here. See you again tomorrow. Unfortunately, there's no one over to raid over to. I think Alejo starts in 3 minutes. So go and check. I think it's Alejo starts at 3 minutes, right? Is Alejo stream next?
Alejo, can you boot up your stream? We can send you the people.
It's Alejo F Black.
Yes.
Is the Twitch channel. Go and tune in now because they're going to be streaming shortly. But unfortunately, I need to bounce because I have a call to do. Thank you everyone again for being here. See you all soon.
You should use a phone instead of bouncing.
Stream's out.
Alejo's trying to. He's now in trap.